Good group of people, fantastic. So welcome to UDS. It's great to be here in nearly Dallas, and it's great to see such a great turnout and a wonderful group of people showing up at this fantastic UDS. So this is an important time for the Ubuntu community because we expand the world.
Guarantee it.
It's a community that's fundamentally underlined with diversity. We have hundreds of different teams, each contributing in their own way to the central Ubuntu ethos that connects everybody. And UDS is a really important element in the Ubuntu calendar. It's when we come together and we design and we discuss and we put together our vision of the next cycle. So last year it looked like this. So who was here last time? Who was here last time? That's what we like. So I've thrown this next slide up a few times. This is my attempt at approximating the landscape. So we have many different types of Ubuntu, according to this. And we've got many representatives from these different types of Ubuntu we'll be introducing later on. But of course, last time, this little fellow was kicked out. And I think everybody deserves a round of applause for kicking out. I think everyone should be incredibly proud. This release has got an incredible level of press, and our users seem to be loving it. It was an adventurous and exciting release. However, this is why we're here. And this is why I think the best person to introduce the vision to this is Mark Shuttleworth.
Right, folks. So, without doubt, Comic was our best release ever. We managed to combine some radical new technologies across all of the Ubuntus and put it out on time in a state of really high quality. So really well done to you. For Lucid, our challenge is to make it an LTS. And I probably don't have to explain to everybody in the room what LTS means. Essentially, I want you to be thinking about two things in each conversation that we have over the course of the next week. The first of those things is maintainability, right? We are going to be tending to Lucid for 5 years on the server, 3 years on the desktop. So there will inevitably be some things that we choose to do differently because of that. There'll be some things that we choose to trade off. Sometimes we may be more aggressive, right? We might bring in a version that isn't yet released. We did this with the last LTS with Firefox, where we actually brought in a release candidate, I think it was, because that was going to be easier to maintain. We could plan for it to go to the final release and then maintain it for that length of time rather than the old version. And sometimes we'll be more conservative. We'll forego some of the latest Chinese stuff in favor of maintaining the stability. So those are decisions that each of you is going to have to make on an agile basis. I just want to be very clear that we should be thinking and documenting and thinking about why we make those decisions, because we will have to defend that people will be asking us why you did this rather than that, and we should always just be able to articulate that. And the second thing is to look out for upgrades. With LTS releases, we make two promises. The first is that they will be maintained for a longer time, and the second is that you can upgrade from LTS to LTS. So there are people who started with DAPA, which was 606 LTS, and then they upgraded to Hardy, which is 804 LTS, and we want them to upgrade to Lucid, which would be 1004 LTS. So think about that. That's something that we'll have to test. That's something we'll have to be confident about when we go for the release. And of course, we'll want people to upgrade from Comic to Lucid as well. Around 70% of the users of any given Ubuntu release are upgrades, as best we can tell. So it's a very substantial amount. We spend a lot of time looking at the experience from a new user point of view, but it's also really important, perhaps even more important, in terms of the number of eyeballs to get the upgrade experience really smooth, really slick, so that people, I know that everybody looks forward to that day when they push the button in Update Manager, and we want that to be a treat for them to use it. So thanks very much. Have a fantastic week. Thank you everybody for coming. There are 60,000 other people who have contributed in one way or another to Ubuntu, just using very rough metrics. And 300 or so who will be here at UDS kind of represent the full diversity of that community. So thank you for coming. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Mark. So, UDS fundamentally boils down to 1 hour. This is something that I churn out to every UDS because I think it really frames what we're trying to do here. So, when I started working as the Ubuntu community manager, I got an email from this guy who lived in Africa, and he said that he used to walk, I think it was 3.5 hours to an internet cafe, and he'd spend his own money to spend an hour working on Ubuntu, and then spend 3.5 hours walking back. And when I heard that story, it kind of redefined to me that our goal is to really get the most out of that person's hour. And here, we're at UDS, and the schedule is broken into a bunch of hours. And our goal here is to get the absolute most out of every hour. We want to really make this valuable face time critically important to helping the success of Ubuntu. So the first thing is to really try and use that as an opportunity to really come out with outcomes. It's very tempting to let each hour turn into a sometimes hypothetical kind of discussion. Let's try and avoid that. Let's really try and focus on getting things done. To help with this, I'm going to be kicking off a plenary after lunch today, which is just going to be back how to run a great session. So that'll be a good opportunity to share some tips, and I'm sure lots of you have got plenty of tips to share as well. So, there's a bunch of people here. Just wanted to very quickly highlight some projects, because something that people have said in the past that's useful is when people say, I'm from KDE, and they can visually see people and it helps them to connect with them later in the week. It's one of the most valuable things about UDS is people getting together in a corridor. And we've got a lot of corridor here. So there's a good opportunity. So I wanted to highlight a few projects, and we'll quickly run through these. And if you're in one of these projects, stand up. So first of all, Debian, our friends from Debian. Okay, GNOME. GNOME people, GNOME friends. Excellent. And of course, KDE. Yeah. All the KDE people sit in the same corner. So we've got some people from Couch who are really interested in CouchDB. CouchDB people? Yeah. Okay, what about eucalyptus? People working with eucalyptus? Yeah. So Ubuntu. Also, we've got a wonderful design team who are really driving the future of Ubuntu as well. So, design team. Translators. If translations interested, Launchpad and different platforms. Okay, I'm going to only do a few more, otherwise this is good. This is like the Academy Awards. I'd like to thank the Academy. So what about loco teams? People who are in loco teams. Yeah. And then finally, people who are on councils. This is important UDS for our governance bodies. Okay, thank you. So we could go on all day. If you're unsure if there's people here you're interested in talking to, then feel free to talk to one of the many faculty we'll introduce fairly soon, or come and grab one of the organisers, or just ask somebody. A lot of us have been here before. So, okay, how do we roll? Some people are new to UDS, and I just wanted to talk through some of the basics, and then Scott is going to hand over and he's going to give a quick introduction to how we use Launchpad. So, first and foremost, the most important thing is the schedule. We have a bunch of sessions, a lot of sessions this week, and you can see the schedule on the screens out there. You can also go to summit.ubuntu.com/UDSL, and you can see the schedule there. You can see the schedule by different tracks, or you can see each day. Everything's there. That's basically your pilot for where you're going to go this week. The schedule is broken across the building, so we've got 3 floors, and the sessions are all randomly distributed. Tracks are not bound to rooms, and the aim of this is to help people move around and keep active. So, we have 7 tracks. This is where my colleagues feel uncomfortable. I want to get each of them up here, just spend a minute just explaining the key things that they'd like to focus everyone's efforts on for the next cycle, and to have everybody share who people are. So they're all thinking, who's going to be first? Pete Grainer, head of the kernel team.
So we did something a little different with the kernel team this cycle. We've broken the team up into a service model where we have certain people dedicated to certain platform foundations teams. So foundations, desktop, server, mobile, all have unique kernel representatives. So my track this UDS is not all 5 days. It's only Thursday and Friday. The rest of the time the team will be out with their virtual teams working on all their projects and all the things that are going on. So for the actual kernel tracks, we've got the usual config review, some app armor sessions, kernel node setting, patch review. A different one this time is running newer kernels on LTS. So that'll be the ability to take, for example, a Lucid +1 kernel and run it on Lucid to take advantage of hardware enablement. We have our normal kernel decision session, which is what version are we going to use. And we have a number of ARM sessions, everything from power management, let's see, got a ton of stuff, device tree. So we've got lots of interesting stuff. That's it.
All right. Foundations.
Hello. I have no notes. So Foundation, if you don't know who we are, we're the guys who either loved or hated in Karmic. We do boot, installer, software center, tool chain, grub. I also manage the security team. Those guys you don't know about until something goes horribly wrong, and nothing does for those guys, so kudos to those. So this week we'll be talking about the performance again. We will hit the 10-second mark of the Dell Mini 10 SSD. That's our target. Aggressively tracking week to week, or I'm in trouble. Boot performance, boot experience in collaboration with desktop and a few other teams. We went through quick and clean. What else? Software Center. I don't know if you heard of that. NPT has a pretty good plenary later on about doing some overview about that, so I won't go into that. And just some general plumbing type of sessions. And the security team didn't get a track, but so their sessions are the same color as the foundation, so just be careful if you're just going for brown. Sometimes it's going to be security, so you may be like, oh, this is not really what I wanted, or that's why someone forgot to add a session for my security team.
Love you, pal. All right, now it's either the server team and CTO. Some other things.
All right, so many of you know me as Ubuntu CTO. For this UDS, I'm also working very closely with the server team, so I'm going to be moderating the server track all week. 9.10 was the 11th release of Ubuntu. Actually, 8 of those releases we've had releases of Server Edition as well. The Server Edition started out as a very basic product. It's grown over the years into a very well-rounded general server OS. But at this stage, we're actually doing a number of things that no other operating system is doing. So I'm very excited about what's going on there. Foremost among those is what we're doing with cloud computing. I can say unreservedly that Ubuntu is now the best OS to use on Amazon EC2. It's the only OS to offer Ubuntu Enterprise Cloud, a private cloud solution that works right out of the box in Ubuntu. And I'm immensely proud of all of that. So they will come and talk with us on the server track about what we're doing there. Today, Monday, we have radio general server sessions, applications, general things that we're doing on the server. Tomorrow, the focus is Ubuntu running inside the cloud, particularly EC2 and also inside UBC. On Wednesday, we'll talk about Ubuntu Enterprise Cloud itself and what we're doing to enable people to run clouds in data centers. Thursday will be server infrastructure components, and Friday we'll talk about testing. So I'll find your attendance and I hope to see you in our sessions.
Okay, Manuel, Ubuntu Mobile.
Morning. Ubuntu Mobile, the focus this time is on ARM, and we're going to do a lot of sessions, as Pete pointed out, device tree, different browser. We're going to do a change-up. In all probability, we've been doing desktop on ARM. We're now looking at doing something a little different, 2D and ARM, or possibly with a slightly different name. So all during the week, we've got ARM sessions scattered throughout. It's going to be highly exciting, very, very interesting, and we're looking to close out this time with probably the best release of ARM on multiple SoC platforms that we've ever done. We've been doing it now for 2 cycles. This will be the 3rd one, and it should be really exciting. So stop in if you're interested in ARM at all. There's some plenary sessions as well that will be talking about what ARM is and why you might care if you're not familiar with ARM. Just for those that may not be familiar with what I'm talking about, ARM is the CPU that's probably the most popular in your phone. It's becoming an incredibly strong platform for other things, and we're supporting it. Thank you.
So we placed you all, the new manager of the QA team. So Marjo Ricardo.
So as Jonah just introduced me, I'm Marjo Mercado, the QA team manager. I joined about 3 months ago. It's my first UDS, so please go easy on me. So similar to the kernel team, we've decided to take the service approach for this UDS. So you'll see a combination of QA track and also a bunch of QA team folks spread out across the different sessions, so please look for us. But as usual, the focus will be on quality, especially since Lucid is an LTS. So what we're looking to do is build a community of testers. So if you haven't already met Ara, make sure you look for her, because that's what she'll be wanting to build for this time around and for the long term. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so we need to keep a running tally for the next speaker. How many times is it going to say quickly? Rick Spencer, head of desktop team.
Yeah.
And Molly.
I'll go through this list quickly. All right, so quickly is not actually on the list to discuss, but there is a session tomorrow. Okay, so I'm Rick. I have the privilege of helping the desktop team get the desktop edition out, inarguably the best desktop available on any technology platform anywhere. So this UDS, I want people to be thinking of it very much as a crucible. There's a lot of awesome ideation going around the desktop team right now. There's a lot of contributions coming in from a lot of sources, and we need to burn off the irrelevancies in the crucible, which is going to be UDS. So please be looking for, first of all, the high priority work items so that we can get those done first. We're going to be making a big push on the desktop team to get the risky things, the most important things done by Alpha 2. So people look out for those, tag the most important things, the most risky things in that way. Also, we need to start thinking about making the desktop as sticky as possible. We're going to have a lot of opportunities over the next year for new people who are new to Linux, who don't even know what Linux is, to be trying Ubuntu. We want them to try it and stick with it. So keep your eyes peeled for that. It's a very end-user perspective. And finally, what's going to be supportable over the long term, because this is an LTX. So, the crucible. Second thing is we need to think about other teams. So be looking out for other teams, what they're trying to accomplish, like with the desktop couch, the mobile team, the boot project, all these things. Be looking for opportunities to make sure that we're doing an awesome job helping these other teams accomplish their goals on the desktop. And finally, a lot of new contributors coming from the community and other areas, other companies. Be on the lookout for new opportunities to bring new contributors into the fold. Maybe there's some work that we think would be very valuable on the desktop. Are we being cognizant of the fact that we could be letting this go to somebody else? It's an opportunity for someone else to contribute.
Thanks. Thank you. So I'm going to be the seventh who's leading the track, and I'm going to be running the community track. And the key focus of our track this time around is going to be our governance boards. We've got many sessions on the ISC Council, on the Forums Council, on the Logo Council, and one thing that we're very keen to do is to help these councils be successful. And part of the goal there is in building out a sense of planning at the beginning of the cycle, and then following on through that planning throughout the rest of the cycle. So recently I blogged about roadmaps, and we've developed a roadmap structure which can be applied to not only council bodies but also local teams, various other teams, that helps those teams achieve those goals throughout the cycle. We're also going to be talking a lot about the local community, building it out, having it better represented in Ubuntu. We have the local directory deployed now, and how we're going to be moving forward with that. And then another real key focus is translations. I think a really, really important ethos behind Ubuntu is that it should be available in your language. And David Planner, who's on my team, is doing an absolutely wonderful job really driving the different components there and helping everyone to work together there. So we have a wonderful catalogue of translation sessions as well. So, moving on, these are some key resources. I'm going to zip through some slides now, which are pieces of information that are important to help you get the most out of UDS. So first of all, there's some resources here. We actually have a sheet, which many of you have picked up. This sheet here, and it's got many of these, pretty much all of these resources are listed on there, as well as a map, which is good. That's what's spread across 3 floors. I encourage all of you to microblog, use Twitter, Identica, whatever else you want to use, tagging the hash UDS, or whatever else you want, but let's focus on hash UDS. Many people are multiply tagging their tweets. You might want to tag it with hash server and hash UDS. The other thing is Gobby. So a few important notes about Gobby. First of all, who here has not used Gobby before? Yes, we have some people. Gobby is a means of editing text together, and it's incredibly useful at UDS. So the most important thing to remember is you must use the Gobby package. Don't use the Gobby, I think it's Infinito package, and I think Gobby uses that as well. The reason being is that our Gobby server is using this protocol, and the new one is not stable. So please use the Gobby package so you can work on those sessions. You can go to gobby.ubuntu.com, and then also there's on the wiki it explains how you should name the documents. If you name the documents, it's much easier afterwards, so we can all find them afterwards. If you're unsure of what to do, just type in help into your web browser, and this will redirect to the UDS wiki page, and there's information on there about where things are, the venue, how to get around, some of the social events that are going on. So just type in help. So wireless. Important to us all. What's more important to us all is that you're at UDS. So we've switched off the hotel wireless during the day. Or well, not so much switch it off, but you have to pay for it during the day if you're in your hotel room. So if you're not at UDS and you're in bed and you want to get online, you have to pay for it. But what's worse than having to pay for it is the wrath that you will receive from us when you don't show up to UDS. So please come to UDS, where the wireless is obviously freely available. You can participate in the sessions. So in the evenings, outside of UDS sessions, you can get free access to the wireless. It'll basically ask you to pay $12, I think it is. We'll just continue through and we'll reimburse the hotel afterwards. So, watch your things. We all have rather nice laptops, and this is a hotel, and we do let the outside world in here. It may feel towards the end of the week like there isn't an outside world. But other people may come in and steal things. Of course, no one in this room will steal anything, apart from our hearts. Oh, come on. So watch your things, keep an eye on things, make sure you're not leaving laptops and phones and everything else around. If you do lose something, come let one of the organisers know, and we'll see what we can do. So the thing is getting around. We're a little bit outside Dallas, and the wiki's got some useful information about things to do in the evenings. UDS is really, really important, an important event not only for us to get together and work on sessions, but for us to bond as a community. It's a time when new people get to meet the rest of the community, and we get to meet each other again and get together. So the wiki's got some good things on there, some events that are going on. I believe the Ubuntu Women group have organised a shooting range session tonight. And there's some other events going on this week, so go and check swine flu is rampant, and we've got flu everywhere, and we want people to be healthy this week. So what doesn't help flu is when you drink 10 pints of beer every night. So please drink responsibly. Please eat some vegetables. Look after yourselves. This is an intense week. Those of you who've not been to UDS before will see how busy we are during the day, how intense it is during the day. And in the evenings, it's often an intense social environment as well. There's lots going on. There's lots to be excited about. And a lot of people just don't want to go back to their hotel rooms and sleep. So get plenty of sleep, eat well. It's going to help you be healthy throughout the week. And also it's going to help your families like you when you get back home and you're not full of flu. So the other thing is, in terms of social events, we have an event called All Stars. And this is something we do the Friday night at every UDS. And this is basically the way where we get together and make some music. And we've got a ton of instruments. Pete Graham's been helping lead this effort, and Daniel Holback and George has been involved as well. And we're just going to get together, and anyone who's interested in playing can play. Traditionally, we've kind of picked bands, and it wasn't quite as open. So this time, we encourage everyone to come and play. So does anyone play an instrument in this room? Put your hand up. Or sing. All of you people need to be playing on Friday. So we're having a meeting after UDS today, 6 o'clock, in the bar. Right? So you'll see us in the bar. Come down and we can figure out which songs we're going to play. All right, George. So George is just going to very quickly talk about crew and videos.
Crew and video crew, please stand up. Okay, so these are volunteers that we cannot run UDS without. These are the people that when your projector breaks and you need someone to run and do a fine promo and all this kind of stuff. So give them a hand. When the shirts get here, they will be wearing a shirt that actually says crew on the day they're crewing. So if you need anything and you don't know who to ask, just look for the whatever color it is shirt, I don't even know. And then just flag the person down. You can always also find me. I'm always wearing like a hat. I think I'm the only one. Good. So if you have a problem with any of the crew issues. Also, we're videotaping a bunch of sessions. If you look in the Summit system, you can look under videotape. It'll show all the sessions are being videotaped. And I just want to remind everyone that when the cameras are in there and you're taping, think of the people, the other 58,000 people who contributed to Ubuntu who can't be here. So remember, we're going to try to video as many sessions as we can and get them up online as soon as we can. So it's big transparency to win there. If you have any questions, just can find me or Claire. I'm the guy running around usually. Okay. All right.
Thank you, George. There's been a lot of people helping out with UDS. I just wanted to highlight these wonderful people who've all helped put this together. UDS is a critical event. We do it every 6 months. And it's a lot of work. And I think everyone should put their hands together for this great group of people. So before I finish and hand over to Scott, I think one thing that it's tempting to sometimes forget when we're all together and we're wrapped up in technical detail is that one of the most important things about UDS is that we come together as a family. It's when everybody gets together. And I just want to reiterate the fact that a key function of UDS is building social connections, because many of the connections that start at UDS end in things that we can see and touch in software and in advocacy and in documentation and translations the world over. And a lot of this gets to the heart of UDS, which is, I am who I am because of who we all are. So this statement, I think, always rings true in my mind when I get together with other people here. It kind of redefines what we can do as a community when we all come together. So we've got tremendous opportunity this week. You're psyched? Yeah! Try again. You're psyched? Yeah! All right. Ready for Scott? Where is Scott? Yeah, he does know someone. Here he comes. Scott James Remden.
Well, he says Scott is coming up. So you've got everyone who's speaking to you before this. This is the part of the talk that goes horribly wrong with using internet connectivity. John's laptop's about to catch and play. But that wasn't going to happen this time because we were absolutely categorically not going to do this, and there were some slides or something like that. So half an hour ago, someone told me I was coming up to do this. So when this goes categorically horribly wrong, you know why. So, anyway, we do just a quick introduction to the Summit system and to Launchpad and the process we use for scheduling. So, John gave us really cool TV there, so I can see what he's doing. So, Summit's Ubuntu.com/UDSL. John gave the URLs out earlier. I suspect this sheet probably has the URL on it. Yeah, it does. This is the schedule of the system, basically. When you visit this, you'll get a web page come up, which goes down a bit. You have a schedule broken out by day, by track, and by route. Now, there's lots of routes, I don't know how many, and there's lots of tracks, and there's lots of schedules. So, people have Monday schedule going. Right, so as you can see, there's quite a lot going on. Now, across the top, you've got the room names. You'll find those on the map, on the back of your sheet. So if you find a session you want to go to, and you find your room that's labeled at the top, find the room on the map, and time is obviously going down. So it's pretty easy to find a session. And the colours tell you roughly which track it is. Now, unlike previous UBSs, those of you who come to the last UBS, you'll probably find surprised that we don't have a room per track this time. Now it's priority people moving around between rooms. Multiple concurrent sessions and tracks and so on. So keep an eye out on the schedule and look for, go read through it and find out what you want to go to. Sessions, when you go to a session, you'll obviously sit down for your hour, you'll talk about whatever. Now, it's always important that somebody takes notes. There's nothing worse than having that really good hour, working out that something absolutely awesome which is going to change the world, and absolutely sure that you're going to write it down. And then the next session is really awesome and you're going to change the world. And the next session after that is really awesome, you're going to change the world. And then you go to the bar and you drink 10 pints of beer because you're competing with John who drinks 12. And then that really awesome idea, you've forgotten about it, it's just gone. So during the sessions, take notes. Now, the great tool for this is Dobby. So John is now over Dobby up for me. This way it hasn't been installed, you watch. There we go, it has. So if you open the Gobby package, then you go to join the session at the top. Now, the host is gobby.ubuntu.com, so you will have to select it. And you'll have to pick a color. And you'll have to pick a color at least 7 times, because somebody will be using the color that you actually want. So, pink color is usually done. And there we go. Now, it will pop up with a list of documents. It'll pop up with a list of documents, and now this time round they've actually cleared out the list. So if you want to create a document, create the document, enter the name. What we call this? UDS intro. It should start with the track name. So it should start with foundations or this. I'm just going to stick that in the slide now. And you get basically a text editor and so on. Now, this is not plugged in, so we may do this back and forth. You just can't get the start. Okay, it's a tradition. So you basically get the text editors there, and everybody else, if you go to join the session, find the documents list, you can all join in, you're all editing the same document, take notes, and put in that document. Yeah. Right, okay, yeah. Importantly, don't always know what to do delete text. Someone always clicks save often. You'll find most people, someone in the crowd always clicks I save often when I'm using Dolly because everything else. So take notes in there, make sure you capture everything, make sure somebody in the track is responsible for making sure everything's captured. And then, you would get over and then when you go back to Summit, you'll see there's a little, it looks like a sheet of documents link inside the bottom. You can look at laptops, you're all reading your email, you can go look at Summit right now while I'm talking. And you see there's a little notes link there, and that will take you to the Launchpad page, which also, the title of the link in the Summit also takes you to the wiki page, which is the place to capture and write up the notes. And they get written up in a nice wiki form. From Launchpad as well, did you put the Launchpad link on it? Launchpad link from the help page will also, there's a big button there. It's a nice big blue button that says register a blueprint. Now you notice on the schedule there's lots of white space. There are empty rooms at particular times and dates. And I'm sure you've all got things that you're really aching to discuss between yourselves, the group people, and there's something we've missed out on the schedule, and something that community guys would like to discuss. So you can fill in those blank spaces. So if you go to the Launchpad page and it's on the wiki, and you click the register a blueprint button, give it a useful name, Foundation community laptop battery, for example, and it'll ask you for a title, a description, all the kind of usual bits. Once you've got that registered, go to the attractors. Those are Jono and Robbie and Matt and Kings and Mojo and I've forgotten someone. Rick. Of course. And those track leads will be able to get that on the schedule for you. Oh, and David. Sorry. They will find you a empty slot on a particular day. They'll get that in the schedule, and then your job is just to go tell people about it and make sure that everyone knows. But if everyone checks the schedule regularly, it shouldn't be a problem. This is George demoing fast food for it. This is Moya, and I think it was time I've been busy trying to make George's laptop do that fast. Right, so, excellent. So go back to Monday. I'll just run you through this quickly while we've actually got some laptop this evening. So, yeah, go back to here. If we select the how Ubuntu edit, just select track, click on the title of it. Yeah, that's it. You click on the title of that. Then you get taken to the Launchpad page for it. As you can see, there's a set URL for the specification here, so that would put in a wiki URL, put the document in there. If you come back out there, yeah. So if you click the try boot forms work, try clicking the title of that one. It's really weird. So just go click the actual title of it. Yeah, so then some of them already have wiki pages with things already in them. In fact, quite often if you go there, you'll find that someone's already kind of written a plan in there somewhere. Okay, you coming out? Now, I said there are blank sessions here, so if you go back to the Launchpad, yeah, now, Launchpad.net. Yeah, that's it. There we go, there's the link. Ubuntu Developer Summit L in Launchpad. It's on the front page. And that's not actually right. It's the link linked off help.
Started 6 hours ago.
Right, so if you go to Ubuntu blueprints. Right. Yeah, there it is, top right, there's a big register a blueprint button. You click on that. And as you've got your name, title, summary, and so on. So to register a blueprint, fill that in, and then where it says propose for sprint at the bottom, select Ubuntu Developer Summit for list of links. And then go find yourself a track link to actually get that on the schedule. So there's plenty of blank spaces on there, so if you do have things you want to do, fill it out. I think I've covered everything, so just quickly see if there's any questions on that before we carry on. But the community guys and the crew will, and anyone who's been to this before should be able to help you through the bugs. And if any has problems, find a track lead. Okay, great. Oh, no, there is one there. Lloyd. I don't know whether George turned that on. George broke it. There was a first schedule. There it's being fixed. Yeah. It normally works as you go back to some of that. Yeah, click on that, click on that. You go down the bottom. So there usually is a link at the bottom which says show sessions not for me, hide sessions not for me, and it hides everything. Oh right, that was the other thing. Sorry, there is one other thing I remember. So if you go back to the Launchpad page, here's the Summit page. Summit, click on that. Okay. Sorry, I'm not doing this certificate. As usual, no plan. If you're actually interested in a session, click on the little sheet of notes next to the top for the link to the session. And as you can see on the right, there's subscribers. Kevin and Martin and Efrain are interested in that. If you're interested, you can subscribe to that. So you click the subscribe link, and that will, you can mark yourself as subscribed to the blueprint. Now, you'll get notified by email of any changes to the blueprint status, so you can follow it. And most importantly, your name will appear on the session next to that blueprint, and you can actually use the per person schedule when it's fixed to get it, so you can actually see where you do it. Alright, I will hand back over now. Yeah, you need to see there the list of names. So, okay. Yeah, there. Oh, and the other thing I was going to say, right, so like Google Performance Work here, see it's got foundations, you can see it also says videotaped. There, that's the indication that the session is being videotaped for the video. And there's a link on the front page as well, so all videotape sessions for the week. Hey. Cool. Right, hey, John.
Thank you, Scott. Okay, so we're pretty much about out of time and ready to roll. So just before we carry on, the shuttle's going into town every day. Is it 6:30, is it? First one, yeah. So if you want to get into Dallas and go and see the local area, you can hop on the shuttle.
What's 6:30 in American English?
Sorry, 6:30. Been living here a year.
Also be cognizant that we are recording the sessions in the room. So if a session ends and you like want to call and argue with someone or something, just remember that they're still recorded.
That happened last time. Okay, so have a great UDS, everyone.